Good morning, everybody. Video 44 coming at you with another video fresh out of bed. So if I look crazy, forgive me. I'm literally out of bed. I didn't even start doing my workout or nothing, put no food together, anything. The first thing I did this morning, getting out of bed, was turn on the camera and talk to you guys about the LA Lakers because I'm that excited about us playing tonight. Preseason game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. And first thing comes to mind is the injury report. We're not expected Cam Reddish to play. I think he's still recovering from something. I don't know what's going on with Cam, but Coach JJ did mention that he's not even doing 5-on-5 workouts yet. So I didn't even know he was injured. I had no idea. And Jalen Hood-Schifino, I don't expect is going to play tonight. He's on the injury report with the back. I think they're just being more cautious with his back still. Which is not encouraging because I heard that he was 100%, so I don't know what the truth is, but I don't believe that the injury report was inaccurate. So that's what it said this morning. On the Minnesota side of things, I want to get the name right. His last name is Clark. I don't know his first name, and I don't want to make the wrong word happen coming out of here. Coming out of my mouth, but a gentleman by the last name Clark is not playing tonight. I think he was injured last year with a little bit of a season-ending knee injury, a little bit of a knee injury. Yeah, he was hurt last year, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess they're being cautious with him. And then Terrence Shannon Jr. is not going to play tonight as well. I think he's dealing with some type of toe thing. So yeah, we're not going to be able to see Terrence, who's somebody I was looking forward to seeing the Minnesota Timberwolves first round pick. So that's what we got going on as far as the injury report is concerned. This is day one, the absolute day one of the preseason, brand new season. We've been through a nice long summer. We enjoyed some basketball for the summer league. We enjoyed the Olympics, but this has been a very long couple of months. So we're gonna try to get back in the swing of things. I am definitely rusty, but y'all know how I'm gonna do it. Try to make a video in the morning. Before a game, a video at halftime for about a minute and a half that usually uploads well after the third quarter has began. That's just how it always goes. And then of course at the end of the game, my intention is to always react to the game. And then from there we have so much to talk about because we then have data, and throughout the course of the season I'm just going to be talking about the Lakers all year long like I always do. So that's what to expect from me. I'm usually very prompt about that, but sometimes we have upload issues. Sometimes life gets in the way. If it usually does, I will let everybody know. But I've been doing this for about 4 years now. So a lot of you guys have been following me for that long. Y'all know how serious I am about the Lakers. You know, I'll let my whole life revolve around doing this. It's one of my passions in life. But as far as what to expect tonight, really don't know. You know, a lot of times when we talk about these games, we talk about the last game. We'll talk about the homework we've done on these teams. But the reality is, we don't have any data. This is day one, and we're getting a feel-out process basically for both teams. Obviously, the Minnesota Timberwolves just made a massive trade. They moved Karl Anthony Towns to New York, where he will be in orange and blue, and they moved Julius Randle back to the side of things that they're on, the Minnesota side of things. He's going to be with them from here on out. From what I understand, he's told the media and everybody, all the fans, that he wants to re-sign with Minnesota if they'll have him. He's up for an extension. So this is a big year for Julius Randle. He does have an opt-in at the end of this season, just in case he doesn't like what he sees on the market. But this is a show-and-prove year for Julius Randle with a brand-new team. And it's going to be interesting. They also got Dante DiVincenzo as well in the trade, who I think is going to be a massive piece. I don't want to downplay Dante's position on this Minnesota team at all. I think he could earn his way into the starting lineup. Obviously, it's a little tricky because their biggest star, Anthony Edwards, plays the two-guard spot, but I think Dante DiVincenzo has proven he can be a multi-positional player, and I think he's going to try to find his way into that starting lineup as well. So he's on a fantastic contract for a couple of years, if I'm not mistaken, so he's settled in. And I think Minnesota's a real dangerous team. You got to look out for, of course, Anthony Edwards, the star of the team, who is one of the best young players in basketball. I don't believe he's even 22 years old yet, and he's already won Olympic gold, already gotten to a Western Conference Finals This is a fantastic young shooting guard on both sides of the floor who is obviously getting better. I will not be surprised at any heights he reaches in his career. That's how much of a talent he actually is. And so if he's healthy throughout the course of a season, you expect for him to continue to rise. And we're going to have to deal with him tonight. Now, obviously, when you talk about the preseason, what to expect is basically the first quarter, maybe you get the starters, and then after that, you see the rookies, you see the hopefuls, that sort of thing. So I think that's what we should expect throughout the course of the preseason. Certain games, as we get closer to the start of the season, you'll see more of the starters. Maybe, you might see a game where we play the entire fourth quarter with our starters just to give them a run at crunch time minutes. But it's really about practice. It's not about wins and losses, just like the summer league. Actually, the summer league, you would say they really do want to win because it's a tournament-like setting. But in the preseason, it really isn't about wins. You could find yourself losing all of your preseason games and still be a good team. It's happened before. The Lakers actually won a championship doing that once. And we were very alarmed. But, it's not about wins and losses as much as it's about getting a feel for the team. Rotations, running plays, seeing how much guys can handle certain things. Finding out who you want to keep on the team. Obviously, there are going to be some hopefuls who are going to be cut, guys on the roster that just aren't going to make it to the last rotation to start the season. But at the same time, you do want your guys to get some run in. You know what I mean? You want to get some of your most important players out there to see what their conditioning looks like, how they look with certain players if you have new changes on your roster. Now, of course, the Lakers haven't made many changes, but we did make some things happen in the draft. Of course, we picked up Dalton Connect, the 17th overall pick, getting that the second year in a row. And this year we took care of getting the best player available instead of leaving him on the board, Cam Whitmore, last year. But nevertheless, we definitely have the player that we did take that year, Jalen, and of course he's expected not to play tonight. Hopefully he does get some run throughout the preseason, but I don't know what the situation is with that back. He's coming off back surgery, Jalen Hood-Schifino. Of course, we also brought in Bronny James, whom I expect to see a lot of in the preseason. Of course, as a player that we took in the second round. Of course, he's the son of LeBron James. I think that's pretty obvious. Everybody in the world knows that. And I think it's going to be really cool to have him on the team. I was looking at some highlights of practice yesterday, and just seeing him interact with his dad and seeing them shoot together, it's surreal. It really is surreal. It's unbelievable, actually. And I think a lot of people are going to enjoy what this opportunity brings to the Los Angeles Lakers historically, as well as just the moment-to-moment circumstance of having a guy play with his son on the same team, which is literally something we've never seen in basketball. So I'm excited about it. I think Bronny's going to be a nice player. I think he'll earn his keep. I think he'll put in the work. I do expect he'll play some G League minutes throughout the course of the season, but he's going to be with the big squad as well, and we're going to be intentional on seeing him be put in positions to learn the point guard position. That's my goal for him. I don't know if the Lakers have that necessarily as something they want to do, but in my mind, you don't necessarily have to change his game, but you do want to incorporate new things into it. And I think that he's used to being more of a two guard, but I think at his height, you want the option of being able to have him at the one. And so that's what I'm hopeful we'll do. We went away from giving him the basketball in the summer league, and I thought we were worse for it, to be completely honest with you. I thought we were worse for it. It was one of those situations where we let Sean East play the point guard position, and he did his best, young rookie. I don't know that he's with the preseason team. I don't think has an invite, but we allowed him to run the point, and I just thought that was not the way to go when you have a player like Bronny James that you put on a full contract, who's at 6'2", somebody that doesn't necessarily know the point guard position very well. You give him point guard roles, and you'll be able to use him in more situations. And he'll be more effective in running your offense. So I just think that that's so important for young Bronny. Let him play the point. So that's what I want to say about that. Of course, we got everybody else coming back. from last year. We didn't make many changes. I know a lot of people are unhappy about that, but we should be excited about the idea of a couple guys returning. Gabe Vincent should be healthy tonight. Of course, I didn't see on the injury report Vanderbilt or Christian Wood, but it's obvious they're not playing in the summer league. For those of us who are paying attention, Christian Wood has had 2 knee surgeries this offseason, but seems to be going very well in regards to his recovery. So we will see him probably at this somewhere in the middle of start of the month, I guess you could say October. I guess somewhere at the end of October, maybe early November is what I would expect, but that's just my guess. And of course, Vanderbilt, we really don't have a prognosis on him that was positive, but in listening to him speak, he seems to be excited about coming back. His recovery from the foot is going well. If anything, we just rushed him back last year with that foot injury, and he had like a really bad setback that kept him out for the rest of the season. It was just a very tricky foot injury for him, so we don't expect to see him at all until November as well, to be honest with you. Maybe even further down the road than that. Who knows? But so yeah, that's what it is. Of course, you got, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, you know what I mean? Some of your regular guys, we're looking forward to seeing them play different roles under J.J. Redick. Of course, we moved on from Darvin Ham. Everybody's excited about that. Braun and AD, I don't expect to see them play too much in the preseason, but they will probably suit up tonight to run in the first quarter or something like that, and they'll probably sit out. But given the fact that this is a new coach, you never know what he's going to want to do. You just don't know. I understand that he may want to shrink his rotation down to 9, but then yesterday he kind of walked that back a little bit and said he's open-minded to whatever, so he's not married to any one thing. This is what it is. I would tell JJ, don't try to make the media happy. You know what I mean? If I think it's very important for fans to know that you are willing to change your mind and that you're open-minded. So I thought that was an important statement, so that we all know that you're not married to something, because that was kind of what went wrong last year, having our coach be stuck on ideas that didn't really necessarily yield the results he wanted. But if you're trying to make the media happy, yeah, that's not. You are from the media, JJ. You know better. They're not gonna ever be settled into anything. If anything, they're looking to shake you up so that they can get what they're looking for. So, if anything, just do what it is you should, and then learn from the data you get, and then amend it as you see fit. That's what I would tell JJ. Don't think that you're going to give a couple words to these people in this media and that's going to settle them. They're not going to settle. They're not looking to settle. They're going to look to shake you up, like I said. So that's really what it is. He'll get used to being in this LA media environment. He is obviously from the national media, but he played with the Clippers, but it's an entirely different thing when you're dealing with our media people and what their intentions are, especially with coaches. So, yeah, what else, man? It's basically the same team from last year, you guys. We really do have the same team. You only brought back Dalton Connect and brought in Dalton Connect and Bronny James. No real other acquisitions. Of course, you got some other guys on two-way contracts. Amel Traore. Traore, I think it's Traore. But when I listen to the French people on French television say it, they call him Traore. That's exactly how they said it. So it's very difficult to say his name, but we're going to get used to the American way of saying it, because not only do we have him on our team, but also his little brother is going to be coming into the league next year as a top 5 pick. So we're going to know that last name eventually. But he's going to be an important piece probably in the preseason, probably getting a lot of minutes. Who else did we got there? Calvin Castleton, I would expect, gets a lot of minutes in the preseason. I do expect to see some of those guys more, at the end of the day, we don't have overly high expectations for the Lakers this season, but we are fairly optimistic that if everyone on our team takes a jump, all of our role players, all of our regular starters, if they take a jump in the right direction, and AD and Bron remain as healthy as they've been and don't have any fall off at all, then we'll finish on the season on a higher note than we did last year, getting ousted by the Denver Nuggets for the second year in a row. We don't want that to be our fate this upcoming season, so we got a lot of work to do. Another player that I think is going to be out for a little while is Christian Coloco, a guy we just picked up about 2 weeks ago. He was out for about a year with some blood clot issues. Had some fantastic breakthroughs medically earlier in the year, and had been cleared to play ball and signed with the Lakers. And we needed him as a center, obviously. So that's one of those situations where he's still not quite through all of the hurdles necessary to get him on the floor, from what I understand. Unless something changes tonight and we see him, would be great. But I haven't heard anything that would allow me to believe that. So we're still waiting out him to be fully cleared so that we can see him. Hopefully that happens before the end of the preseason. D'Angelo Russell, from what I understand, he's extremely excited about JJ Redick. JJ also excited about coaching him. It seems to be a good start there. Very good start in regards to their rapport. And of course, we had some issues with D'Angelo Russell with coaches in the past. It's been a thing. But I think at the end of the day, you just want to see D'Lo continue to take advantage of opportunities given as our starting point guard to score the ball, facilitate the ball, try to work as hard as he can defensively, be himself, but be the best version of himself if at all possible. More consistently is what we're going to be looking for. Definitely having more consistency from D'Angelo Russell will really, really help our team a lot. A good, healthy year as well, which is important for him. So, these are the type of things that come to mind for me when it comes to the Lakers. I don't know too much about the Minnesota Timberwolves as it pertains to what I expect for them to run out there. They do have some big changes to kind of adjust to, and we don't know how their team is going to run their starters, see how competitive they want to be. Rudy Gobert, how many minutes is he going to get tonight? Probably not many. I expect for them to play their young guys, man. And with Terrence Shannon not out there, that's one big piece that's not going to be on the floor for them. But I do find myself excited about the idea of Rob Dillingham and what he could be in this league. Pick that they took with the 7th, I think, or 8th overall pick. I don't remember exactly which. San Antonio actually was the team that drafted Dillingham, but they ended up making a trade, sending some futures to San Antonio to bring him to Minnesota. This is a young player who can dribble the ball as good as anybody. Definitely somebody who can shoot the 3-ball extremely well, an elite 3-point shooter basically, and someone who's really crafty around the basket as a small guy. So we're going to have to keep an eye open for Dillingham, because I'm of the minority that thinks he's going to probably earn his way into the starting point guard position before the end of the year. And well, it depends on what type of year Mike Conley has. Of course, Mike Conley's still in place, but Mike Conley's about 37 years old now. So, I think a guy like Rob Dillingham, when you trade up for him and you look at what his talent level is, lottery pick, that's exactly what I think the Minnesota Timberwolves needed, was a point guard who could supersede Mike Conley. So in the preseason, there will be opportunities, I'd imagine, for him to show what he can do, and I expect for the ball to be in his hands a lot tonight. I expect that. But you never know. You never know. So that's kind of what it is, man. Minnesota Timberwolves. This game, I don't remember where they said this game is. I don't believe it's at the Target Center, and I don't believe it's here at this Crypto.com arena. I'm pretty damn certain it's at a neutral site, probably in Bakersfield or something like that. But I forgot what it said. I don't even know if I checked, to be honest with you. But I do believe it's going to be a Laker home game. And this is also the team we'll see at the beginning of the season. The regular season will be a starting game with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I believe that game is here at Crypto.com Arena. So start the preseason with them, start the regular season with them. We're going to get to know Minnesota very well. We're going to see Juju in a Timberwolves uniform more than anybody else is early on. So that's going to be fun to watch. Of course, Julius Randle's always got a chip on his shoulder playing the Lakers. He's been in the Eastern Conference for the last 5 years, so he's going to have to get readjusted to playing against these Western teams. And this is the first night back since leaving New Orleans 5 years ago. So he's back reunited with the coach that he played with in New Orleans. I think Finch was an assistant with New Orleans, and I watched the presser with Juju going to their team yesterday morning, and he was essentially saying that he wanted Finch to follow him to New York. That's how much he enjoyed playing under the guy. So he's very excited about playing under him now. and called the man a genius. So I think that's getting off to a good start, even though the presser was kind of funny looking at those two guys. They didn't look too happy, but the things they were saying spoke to them being optimistic about going with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and tonight's the night one of that circumstance. So we're going to get a first look at that, him and Dante DiVincenzo. They also got Keita Bates-Diop in that trade. He is now having his second tenure with the Minnesota Timberwolves, having been drafted by them, I think 6 or 7 years ago. So that's what's going on with Minnesota. And as far as ourselves, we'll get some understanding as soon as the game starts. That's really what it comes down to. No homework to be done. We know we got ousted by the Denver Nuggets back last April or something like that. It's been a long time coming. We're ready for basketball to be back in Laker uniform, and this is a great night. The game starts 7:30, as you guys know. And I couldn't be more excited about what our young guys are going to do. Max Christie is somebody I didn't mention in this video yet. I expect for him to be on the floor quite a bit in the preseason. You know what I mean? It's all about the young guys for me. Our older guys, we know who they are. Gabe Vincent, of course, is important because we got to see how he looks health-wise, and I do believe he'll be out there tonight. He'll probably get some run for sure. But, the Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, we kind of know what we're going to expect from those guys. I don't expect that they'll play too much, just like Bron and AD. But everybody else, I do expect to see them on the floor quite a bit, man. The two-way guys, and all of that. That's going to be important. Of course, we know that we let what's the young fella, the shooter out of Pitt. He ended up going to the Golden State Warriors. I know a lot of people were excited about him. Can't think of his name right now, but he was a shooter. Blake Henson. He is now with the Golden State Warriors. So he was one of the two-way guys that we'd otherwise expect to have seen tonight, but we did move on for him to bring in Koloko, and of course Koloko is not expected to play. So we're down a two-way player because of that situation. But like I said, there's still some young guys on this team that definitely need to play a lot. Dalton Connect is somebody I expect to get a lot of minutes tonight as well. Very excited about him, man. Very excited about Dalton Connect. I think he's going to be one of the best scorers we have out the gate. Defensively, he's going to need to work, but I understand that he put on some weight to give him a little more bulk to push around people and play a little more of the bigger small forward position, which I think is very important for us in the rotation. I think he'll probably slot in as a 2 right now, but I think his natural position is the 3. That's what he played in Tennessee, and that's ultimately the position I think we need him to play in order to get the most out of him. Because at the end of the day, we did move on from Taurean Prince, and going to need that 3-ball spot to be taken care of, especially since we're down Cam Reddish as well, who I would imagine would get some minutes in the preseason. So that's kind of what it is. I expect to see a whole lot of Dalton Connect tonight. And, I'm curious to see what type of rotations J.J. Redick uses. This was a big thing for us last year. We did not love the rotations that Darvin Ham used a lot of times. Starting lineups were a little tricky. This go-round, we have an understanding of who the starting lineup is going to be out the gate, and he's basically said that he's not intending to really change it. D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Bron and AD, Rui Hachimura at the 3. So I do expect that there are going to be some guys who are going to push them for minutes. There's going to be some guys who are going to try to push their way into that starting lineup. Injuries will also tell the story. But that's the starting lineup that we have, and it's refreshing, in my opinion, to have a coach that's willing to give you information early, that's not trying to keep everything close to the chest like it saves him from anything. Some things do need to be kept in-house, but some stuff is not even strategy-based. And so I think J.J. Redick will learn what works for him and what doesn't. He, of course, this is his first coaching tenure in any level. So we have a real, true rookie coach out there, but the team seems to be prepared quite a bit. Obviously, J.J. has excelled in everything he's done and has been in the NBA for many, 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 many years in several situations. So he knows what players who should want and what a practice should look like, and to surround himself with good coaching assistance as well to kind of push the process along. So salute the Kobe minute. Definitely love being able to say that. And when it comes to JJ, we're just excited about him getting his feet wet. His very first coaching game tonight. Congratulations to him. And we're going to grow. We're going to grow with him. and everybody's very excited. The atmosphere is fun. They brought in a DJ, from what I understand, for practices now, so it's just an entirely different vibe. And I saw a bunch of guys that look very happy to be there. Now, I've seen stuff like that happen before. You know, teams look like they have great chemistry, and then they go on and have a terrible season, and it ain't the same. So we don't know what the course of a season will bring us, but we're getting off to a great start. Guys are really excited about JJ. JJ seems to be extremely prepared and well communicated. I don't think that's a word, but he's communicating well with all of us, letting us know what we could expect and what it is that he's ultimately expecting from himself and the team. And it's going well, man. So hopefully we can get off to a great start in the preseason. And what that looks like, in my opinion, is everyone staying healthy, and then our players looking pretty cohesive for the most part out there based on the stuff that they've been running in training camp. A win doesn't necessarily tell the story, but this is what I will say about preseason, especially the first game of preseason. Lots of turnovers, lots of brick shots. It's just what to expect. Everybody's coming in fresh off of their off season. So I don't think I've seen too many day one preseason games that look any good. they just don't. So I don't know that we don't see more of that, which is just going to be tough to watch. Guys have the jitters. Guys got to get used to playing with one another. It's a lot of newness here. So I don't expect that we'll see them look as good right now as they probably will near the end of the preseason and start of the season. But that's what it's all about, getting all of that out the way, starting the process of having some data from which to study, and going from there. So that's where we're at, man. That is where we're at. The Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves, 7:30 tonight. God knows where the game is, but we're definitely watching it wherever they're playing. I'm very excited that we're back, man. Very excited to be back, and I think that as we go forward, hopefully we'll have a much better season than we've had these last couple of years, because to be honest with you, it hasn't been overly fun to be a Laker fan as of late. I'm not going to lie to you. We've had some really tough seasons. We enjoyed moments within those seasons, no doubt, but from season to season, throughout the course of my fandom, I can think of a lot of years I liked a lot better than the last 2 or 3 that we've had. Even though we went to the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago, the regular season was a bit of a drag. So hopefully JJ can bring a more fun product to watch out there. Hopefully we can be as successful as our ceiling would allow. And most importantly, beyond all of it, is that we stay healthy and just have a good time out there. So that's really what I got to say, man. I'm going to start my day, make sure that I have all my tasks done so that I can watch the game comfortably, and there's a lot to do today. So I appreciate everybody for being patient with BDF 44. Let's have a fantastic season.